and we are going on a hike to celebrate. We needed to get outside. It is said that we are going to have some good air for the next few days. It has helped the fires deplete, so that's really great too, and we want to make sure we take full advantage. Like I said in my last vlog, if you don't know why I'm so excited for rain, go ahead and check out my last vlog, or don't, because it's sad, but it's pretty much me just stuck inside for an entire week because we've had really bad fires in Oregon. There's the abbreviated version. Point being, we are going to go take full advantage and we are going on a hike. What would you say, like an 80-degree angle?
No, 90 degrees is straight down, Jay, so like 30, 40.
It's a very, very steep hill, okay? That's what I'm trying to say, and it's not capturing on camera, and it's driving me nuts.
You need something for reference, like in the background.
I'm a reference! Okay, there's a grasshopper. Don't. No! I'm gonna roll down this hill.
See what I'm saying? Whoa! There you go.
Ugh, I just stuck my entire hand into a spider web. Seeing how the paths come together, so it'll take a little bit for me to really get into it and be like invested, but I am starting to see how the characters at least are going to come together a little bit. That's very promising because I'm character driven. You could have a really boring, really weird, or non-existent plot and I can still enjoy a book. It's the absence of character and plot that make it really difficult for me, so I'm hoping that this is a good sign and I will check back in to update that. Happy Mabon, Autumn Equinox, and the 48th day until the fires of vengeance. I finally know what day it is, and it put me on track to realize I had Mabon coming up, and I'm a witch. Sorry, I got distracted by a mailman. Are you bringing me books? No, come back! If you were following my Instagram stories, you will know that I had some witchy things cooking up this week. I have my Mabon cider and my favorite way to start the season with butternut squash soup. My mom usually makes both of these by scratch each year. I made the Mabon cider this year by scratch, and then I'm not as skilled as her with the butternut squash soup. So she was kind enough to send me over the ingredients. Thank you, Mom. And I was able to just warm it up. Anyway, I'm going to go edit that footage, and then I do have some other witchy things that I'm doing today as a solitary practitioner, so I won't be showing those things. I have to keep some of it private and personal, otherwise it kind of loses its emotion to me. But if you're not a bigot, I would love to know what you thought of me putting it in, and also let me know how and when do you welcome in autumn. I know a lot of people started celebrating on September 1st. For me, I can't do it until Mabon. There's something about celebrating Mabon and having all those wonderful, sweet, spicy spices in the air that just bring it in. Like, this tastes like autumn to me. What do you drink? What do you do? Is it a pumpkin spice latte? Is it a chai? Is it still iced coffee because you do it all year? And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and edit that footage, and then you can go ahead and watch the finished product. are going outside. I don't know how this is actually gonna go. You might be the only one knows that I tried to do this video outside before I did it inside. So I'm gonna do my fall recommendations video for like all of my favorites of fall outside in the forest. And if it blows up and doesn't work out because sound quality and all of the other terrible things that could go wrong, if I'm eaten by a bear. Oh, well, if I'm eaten by a bear, you won't know. It'll probably be on the news, I feel like, right? Okay. Anyway, apart from me not being eaten by a bear, you will be the only one that knows, because if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna have to film this video twice in one day. Not looking forward to it, but I am expecting it. So let's go give this a try. You think this is an update, but I'm actually checking. I knew it! Oh my god, there's a freaking spider. I heard him jump on my hat. Oh, he's awful. I'm not afraid of spiders, but he can't stay here. Ugh, he's so big. All right, let's get him off. All right, round 2. There's a lot of things I will miss about living in Portland. My family, and I like a lot of things that Portland has to offer. But the other thing is honestly just the fact that I can leave my backyard and step into an absolute forest oasis. That's gonna be hard for me. So here's to hoping I get placed somewhere in Japan that has lots of forests. Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, it's a squirrel. Squirrels are exciting. They're just, you know, squirrels. Oh, you're a cutie. Y'all, it's been like 10 minutes of me watching this squirrel. I need to find a spot for this video. It obviously has trees. We have an abundance of that, but I need a spot where I can sit down. I brought a pillow to sit on. There's like almost too many places I could go, and I don't want to go too far in because if I have to film this video again, that means I'll have to walk back and so on and so forth. So oh, another thing I didn't think of. I'll need to find somewhat even ground for me to stick my tripod on. I might have found the tree, and it seems even enough that I could probably get away with this. Let's not do the spider thing twice. Okay, I'm either thinking this spot because it freaking looks like a scene out of Ferngully, but then this spot over here also seems nice, but it's a little bit more of a hill. Or I could keep going. Ooh, no, I think I found the perfect spot. Completely even ground, lots of ivy. It's a double tree. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get filming. Oh, that tree's cool too. I need to just pick a tree. I have to say, while I was struggling to just read this physically for a while, because I was getting used to some of the words and vocabulary in it, I would have a heck of a hard time just the audiobook because there are illustrations in here that are like the most useful thing. I don't know if he had the foresight to realize like a lot of these things would be misunderstood or not visualized correctly, or his descriptions wouldn't work. I don't know. But these illustrations are doing it for me. It helps so much because I really didn't have a good understanding of the layout. He gets the atmosphere, but not necessarily the world building completely. I was definitely struggling with how the chasms were laid out until, hold on, let me go back. I was having a really hard time, but I'm not struggling as hard now. But this illustration, it doesn't give anything away. In my UK copy, it's on page 338. It's really useful. Almost as soon as Kaladin gets to the chasms, I would look at it because it helped me like a lot. Yeah, the illustrations have been really nice for world building aspects and otherwise. I probably wouldn't have like really pictured some of the creatures as is. That's really nice. I'm also, did I just lose my spot? There's a bookmark in here somewhere. Oh no, my bookmark's there. So yeah, I'm on chasm duty. It's chapter 27, and this is how much of the first of the 2 books that complete the entire first book. That was confusing, but hopefully you know what I mean. The UK book is split into 2 different books. I'm almost done with the first half. This is how much I have of it left. It took me about a month to get through this much of it, but I've been able to read about this much of it in like a week. I think I can finish this last half pretty quickly. So what I'm trying to get to here. Hopefully you can get through at least the first book by the end of this video because it is the last day of September and I'm definitely not gonna make it. But I'm gonna get close. Okay, so I just got to the end of part 2 and the beginning of an interlude. I don't fully understand the interludes. I don't think I'm supposed to. I did recognize the name Hoyd because everyone who has read this book talks about him, and he was mentioned, I think. He was mentioned in Elantris, and so I understand that Hoyd is important, and I understand that people are looking for him, but I don't understand really anything else. I'm like not looking forward to the interlude, but I also understand that at a later point I'll probably really appreciate them. Give like a nod, let me know if that's true. So far you guys have been really encouraging and correct, spot on as to this book picking up and the setup being important or worth it. I don't know if I need this much setup in my books, to be perfectly honest. Think I could do with less setup, but I mean it's a 1,000 page book and a giant epic story, so in the grand scheme of things I guess it's not that much. There's a point where visions are introduced into the book, and I think I can pinpoint, yeah, chapter 19. So that is 318 pages into the book is when I started to become interested versus me reading for the sake of reading. Oh, also, there's a character in here that reminds me of Uduak from Rage of Dragons. He just seems like a really gentle giant, and he's hanging out with Kaladin, who's our main character. So yeah, he's reminding me of Rage of Dragons, which I know is not what a lot of you want to hear, but my mind is still there. It's like the worst book hangover I think I've ever had. There's only 37 days left until The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, so we are chipping away at this countdown, and I can't help it. It's always in the back of my mind, but yeah, there's a character that reminds me of Uduak. Maybe you'll know his name off the top of your head. I don't really know him off the top of mine. I'll see if I can find. Rock. He has a much longer name, and my dyslexia completely butchered it. Not even gonna try. We're gonna go with Rock. I really like Rock's character. I'm finding that I like the gentle giant character archetype that's usually like a supporting character. Gonna go back to reading because that is my entire day. And I will check in hopefully when I finish this. I'm gonna really power through this. When you see me next, in fact, if you see another update from me, I want to be chastised for it because I need to finish this, and I can finish this today. I can feel it. I'm gonna turn on my audiobook. I am just gonna lay in bed. I'm not even gonna go outside because there's distracting things outside. So I'm staying inside, staying in bed, and I'm gonna finish this book because our live show is going to happen eventually, and I am not prepared. Wow, okay, this is gonna seem really bad after my last clip, but my family called and we're going hiking. I know, okay? I'm really sorry. It's gonna be super pretty. I didn't exactly do it because the game plan was to finish The Way of Kings for Becca's Bookapolathon, which was going on in, what month did we just leave? September. And I did not do that. So when I say I did it, I am lying. I don't know. Point is that's not the thing I did. The thing I did was what I said earlier, which was that I was going to try and finish at least part 1 by the end of September. It is October 1st. And wow, I didn't really do that either because I just finished part 1 today. So I guess I didn't do it. My initial thoughts are not the same ones I felt when starting the book, so this definitely deserves like its own video or own vlog. It didn't happen that way, but I did have a lot of thoughts going into this. Almost too many thoughts going into this. As I started The Way of Kings, I was initially, I wouldn't even say bored, I would say disinterested. It started off and I felt really overwhelmed, and I was kind of like expecting more of a Final Empire vibe where the plot was really obvious and secure, and I was going to be secure in that. That's not the case with The Way of Kings at all. You really go in and you just have to trust either Brandon Sanderson or your audience or whoever and however you ended up reading this. You have to trust in it. I ended up having to trust the other people that are participating in our readathon, which is the Stormlight Archive readathon. If you don't know about that, I will have all the information linked down below, and I'll talk a little bit about it later. But I had to trust people, because if I was just picking this up out of the blue without any Brandon Sanderson references, any people telling me I need to read this, I would have DNF'd it like quick. I was rolling my eyes at Shalon. I thought she was really pretentious, and there were a couple of scenes where I saw her talking down to people and it just drove me over the moon. I felt Kaladin was a lot, or maybe too much, like Kelsier, which I'm going to get into here in a second, and I just had no idea what was going on, what the stakes were, or why I should care. That's how I went into The Way of Kings. In a really polite way, you can tell that that is the truth in my last vlog. I was trying to figure out how I was going to enjoy myself, and I started to kind of fear that I was going to be the only one that didn't like The Way of Kings, and that was just my lot in life, and the live show was going to be a slaughter of me. I was going to be slaughtered in the live show. So I'm pleasantly surprised to say, I know I didn't get a lot of updates done while reading this, but due to the time crunch, I really couldn't stop. I had to keep going. The live show is in exactly 1 week. By the time this is uploaded, it'll probably be today. So get ready to go see the rest of my thoughts on finishing it, because I will get this finished. I am spending the next week only reading this book. I'm dropping all other things I'm currently reading to get it done. Enjoy the live show that's probably in a few hours. I'll have it linked down below if there's a link for it. In finishing part 1 and starting 2, I do have very different feelings. I slowly but surely started to feel intrigued and cared more about the characters, and I realized that once I not slowed down but just took each moment in as its own separate private scene, I was able to get a lot more out of it. Brandon Sanderson was definitely writing this book almost frame by frame in each scene. You can see the characters move from one side of the room to the other while they're speaking. You can see the entire scene in your head. I felt like I wasn't getting a broad perspective of the world, but I was getting very laser focused moments. Slowly, all of those moments add up to a larger picture. I wish I could describe that better. I know that that's really vague. I would also say that my first impressions of the characters were inaccurate, or at least unfinished. And again, I'm only halfway through this book. They're still unfinished. I don't know if they're inaccurate. I would love for you to tell me if I'm on the right track here, because I'm going to give a brief overview of what I'm thinking of the characters so far, which will be spoiler free. I will not give away spoilers whatsoever having to do with this book. I just want to give some character idea thought analysis, because these characters are incredibly interesting and really intricate, to the point of where I've assigned them like zodiac signs beyond sun signs, but also like moon signs. That's pretty impressive for me. I still am not in love with Shalon. I really did see a lot more of her by the end of this first half and beginning of the second that made her much more intriguing and compelling to read, even if I still don't care for her. I don't like her very much, but I do find her very interesting. Right off the bat, I'm gonna go with the fact that she's a Gemini. I think she has an incredibly playful side, and I think she is very diverse in her personality. I also find her to be incredibly playful and curious, despite the fact that she's somewhat of a perfectionist. She's very playful. She tells a lot of jokes. She is very witty, which is all very Gemini. I'm giving her a Virgo moon, which is like the most organized a Gemini could ever be with their thoughts in mind. She's very astute with her jokes. She's also controlled, but she's not cool-headed. And neither are Virgos. Virgos are very organized, very controlled, but they do not have a cool head. They get nervous, they get anxious, and so does Shalon. There's a lot of different characteristics to Shalon that almost seem like they're opposing each other, which makes her very interesting to read. I can say for certain, I never know what a Gemini is going to do, and I definitely never know what Shalon's going to do. There are a lot of moral dilemmas that she plays around with. She definitely has an ethics about her, but she's unsure of what her ethics are, and sometimes, again, they are very opposing. She can come off as cold and distant, but it's also very, again, playful. I'm gonna go ahead and give Shalon a Gemini Sun, Virgo Moon. I'd like to know what you think about that. Moving on to Kaladin and Kelsier. Kelsier is from another Brandon Sanderson book in the same universe called The Final Empire. I've only read the first of The Final Empire and immediately fell in love with Kelsier. I loved his entire person. He is a Leo. I feel pretty strongly about that. Let me know if you feel differently, but I felt that Kelsier had a bravado about him and a martyrdom that was very evident and very Leo, as well as being incredibly altruistic. Enter Kaladin. I was like, okay, is this also Kelsier? Can he only write one male hero character? And I take that back. I'm real sorry about that. I'm also apologizing to all the Capricorns out there because I think Kaladin is a Capricorn. I cannot imagine being a Capricorn being mistaken for a Leo. I think that that would like damage the soul. The reason why I think Kaladin is a Capricorn is how hardworking he is and his mindset towards work. He has a goal. He's trying to achieve it. He's trying to do the best he can. He believes he's on this earth for a purpose, but he wants to know what that purpose is. Not for a larger meaning, but so he can just get his job done. And I really enjoyed Kaladin's character because I was not immediately fascinated by him, but he is very much a character you are getting to know over a long period of time because he's not going to show you all of his cards right away. Even in Kelsier's larger storyline, it made sense to me right away. If someone had spoiled the first Empire for me in the first few chapters, I wouldn't have been surprised. I would have been like, oh, that makes sense based off of Kelsier's personality. Kaladin is definitely not that kind of character. I thought he was this heroic bleeding heart, and he does have that. He does have an underlying current of that, but that is not his major MO. One of the lines that makes sure that you know that he's not a Leo is a line where a character is asking him specifically if he wants to be a miracle, and he says, no, but for them I will be, because he is just there, duty bound to get his job done. He's also not much of a people person despite being incredibly charismatic. The reason why I think that people might initially think that Kaladin is a Leo is because I think that's his moon. I think that he does have a martyrdom about him, but it's very self-inflicted and internal. I think that it's not about getting everyone to like him, but in being really hard on himself and making sure that job gets done. Kaladin is really interesting to me. I'm not in love with him the way I'm in love with Kelsier, but I don't think I need to be. I think I find him fascinating enough on his own to just keep reading about him and learn more about his story, and maybe that will change over time. Maybe it's a slow burn romance as well as a slow burn learning process. For Kaladin, I'm going with Capricorn Sun and Leo Moon. Let me know if you think that one is wrong. Two characters I was initially completely bored by was Delinar and Eowyn. I think it's Delinar and Eowyn. Their characters are now ones I'm really looking forward to in each chapter when I know that a chapter for them is coming up. So Delinar is a character who I immediately liked, but definitely still, again, didn't have much interest in. I was a little bit bored by the storyline, the court life, the court politics. The thing that adhered me most to him was the fact that he was bored by it too. He didn't like that, and Delinar is a very duty-bound, straightforward person that can be stubborn and grounded and is very family oriented. But what really pegged him for me as a Taurus is the fact that he is incredibly self-righteous and also intuitive. He has all those family characteristics that would almost make him Capricorn-like, but there's this otherness of him where he doesn't like to follow the norm. The entire court is very much so like embedded in like these political nuances and stuff like that, and Delinar is way too honest and straightforward for it. He cannot stand it. He doesn't like the lies, and neither does Taurus. You can see that he's actually following his intuition quite a bit, despite that not being a very masculine trait in this book, as things are described in the masculine and the feminine arts. Despite that not being a really sought for trait, he can't help it. He is intuitive. He trusts his gut, and so does a Taurus. I'm unsure of his moon sign, but I'm sure that will reveal itself. I just need more time with him. The same with Eowyn. I don't have a moon sign for him, but Eowyn strikes me as either an Aries or a Leo. I can't tell because I don't know as much about his character. I feel like because he's willing to play into the court games, he's giving me more Leo vibes, but if he's willing to deviate from the court and be a little bit more feisty in his altruism, then I might just peg him as an Aries and move on. Very interesting characters, and I found that once I was understanding them, I was also wanting to know more about their storylines and what was happening. It really does all slowly weave together. You have Navani, who's a character I'm really interested to know more about. She seems like a very sexy secret keeping Scorpio. Ow, just hit myself in the face with the book. So yeah, all right. I feel like that sums up so far what I'm thinking of a lot of the different characters. I think that that is part of what has made me get into the second half so much more, and why I know that I'll be able to finish it by the live show, and I would not be able to connect with them as well if they weren't so well written and so fleshed out. So lots of setup, lots of things just being slowly put into place, like brick by brick. Through this entire book, I still stand by the fact that if I didn't trust you guys, if I didn't trust the people who had told me to read this, I probably wouldn't have read it. But going into this one, I am fueled purely off of character dynamics and the plot now rolling, and me now being invested in these people's lives. It's really interesting, and I am really excited to talk about this in the live show. I have a lot of thoughts outside of the characters, such as the world building, the magic system. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this. I have spoken on the live show, but I will go ahead and let you know that we are having a live show. It's on Catherine's channel. I will have it linked down below. It should be posted because this vlog is definitely not coming out this week. I have to edit the entire thing, and I also have to read this. Yeah, it's gonna have to go out on a Saturday. Next Saturday, which is the live show. I don't know how interesting this vlog is gonna be, but if you made it this far or you clicked around, because I hopefully put the little chapter thingies, thank you for joining whatever parts you did, and I hope you are enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until next time, bye!